and welcome to another episode of Back to Basics. Now, today's video is called Alien Planet Bases. But the great thing about these designs is that you can actually take the technique and the methods for these and make them any colour, any design you like. So in the video you'll see me doing a pink one and a green one, but you could very easily use, say, sandy colours and make a kind of arid desert base, or you could use darker browns and make like just a dry, earthy base. So the technique will be the same for anything you want to make, you just change the colours. Now, the reason that these are alien bases specifically is because my lovely partner bought me some Gamer's Grass alien tufts for Christmas. And for ages I've just been sat looking at them, thinking about what I'm going to use them for. So I decided just to try and play around with the colours to begin with. And that's basically where this base idea came from, is from these tufts. So let's head to the table and I will see you in a bit. So here are the Gamer's Grass tufts. You've got turquoise, fire and neon. So for the first base, I'm just going to use my trusty white pumice, and I'm going to apply a nice layer all over the base, making sure I get right up to the edges. And the reason I use this texture on these bases is simply because it creates a nice rough surface. So when we come to do the dry brushing later on, it gives the paint lots of little rough patches to really catch on, and it just adds a lot of depth to the base. So I'm going to leave that to dry, and then I'm going to prime in grey cere. Now, as you can see, I've also primed just a plain blank base. And onto that one, I'm going to apply 2 nice layers of contrast Vulpus Pink. And I apply 2 layers just to make sure that you get a nice, strong colour on there. Now, on the other one, I'm going to use some contrast Militarum Green. And again, I'm going to apply 2 coats just to make sure that the paint gets into all the nooks and crannies and that there's no grey bits left poking through. So you want to just get a nice thick coverage of this paint onto the base. Kind of apply it as if you're applying a nice wash onto something. So now, once the paint's dry on the pink one, I'm just going to apply a nice thick layer of PVA glue. And this just helps with the crackle paint and helps it to stick. So once the glue's dry, you're going to take some white crackle paint and put a nice big dollop into a plastic palette. And into that, we are going to add some Green Stuff World candy ink in the magenta colour. So I'm going to add a few drops of that and give it a good stir with an old paintbrush or a toothpick or something. And I always say add less than you think, because once you mix it in, you'll get a view of what colour it's turned out to be. And as you can see here, I decided this was a bit too pale, so I added a little bit more. It's always better to do it that way around, because if you add too much, you can't take it out. So I kept giving this a really good stir until I got the colour that I was looking for. And once it was all nicely mixed in, all you need to do is apply a nice coat onto the pink base. Don't make it too thick, you want to have some nice cracks in there. So a relatively thin coat just all over, right up to the edges. And now onto the green one. Well, first of all, I'll show you this. That's the pink one. And I stuck the tufts on it before I'd pressed record. So now onto the green one. I'm going to use some Skarsnik green. And I've just put a little bit of that onto a palette. I'm going to dip my brush in. And then I'm just going to wipe off most of the paint onto some kitchen roll. And then we're going to go in with a really heavy dry brush, really pressing down and making sure that that nice light green catches on all the rough and raised ridges on the base. Then we're going to do the same with the Nurgling green. Going to be a little bit lighter on the dry brush with this one, just to catch the highest parts of the base. And you can see how that really helps to create depth on the base, and it gives a really nice effect. So then you just need to add your tufts wherever you want to and paint the rim. I painted mine in Corvus Black. And here's an example of the different types of colours and designs you can make. So there you go. That's how I make my alien planet bases. Now, if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel, and that way you'll be notified when I release more content. Feel free to leave me a comment down below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. And if you're interested in following me on other social media platforms, you can find my Instagram and Facebook links in the description below. I will be back very soon with another All About That Base video. And until then, happy hobbying.